Get it? You're not going to work just anywhere. You're smart, ambitious, and you want to help others. You want a place where you can thrive, feel fulfilled, and have an opportunity for growth, all while making an incredible living. Right now is the perfect time to join the team at Town Square Media as a marketing consultant. Join one of the fastest growing digital companies in America, where you get to help build client solutions with real local influencers and sell brands like TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. If this sounds exciting to you, let's have a conversation. Our comp package is amazing with unlimited earning potential, including base salary, mobile phone, auto expense, 401k match, trip incentives, and more. If you're competitive, driven, and have the ability to communicate great ideas, we'd like to hear from you. With digital advertising expected to double over the next 3 years, the timing could not be better. Reach out to Mike Rubel, Market President, at 609-910-5249 or visit careers.townsquaremedia.com. Town Square Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Sports is what we do.
You're in your car, you're in your house, you're wherever you are. You're a sports fan.
97.3 ESPN.
Because if you weren't a sports fan, you wouldn't be listening.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Tonight is Thursday Night Football. Tomorrow night is Phillies World Series Game 1. Sunday, Eagles are back in action versus the Steelers, and you can hear it all right here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Yes, I am Josh Hennig, hanging out with you for another Thursday. Got a very full power hour ahead of us. Gino Torretta, the 1992 Heisman Trophy winner, will join us on behalf of Touchdown Radio coming up in less than 20 minutes from now for his weekly conversation about college football. I'll get you guys the latest news and information about the Eagles and the Phillies as well this hour. And we'll give you my thoughts on Thursday football before we get out of here. As always, you can join the conversation. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. So we now know what the Game 1 matchup is. And I got to admit to you guys, I think this whole shell game that's going on between these teams is the dumbest thing in the world. You know, maybe I'm going to sound like a get off my lawner, but I remember the days where you literally could map out a team starting rotation for a postseason series. Now you can't do it. For whatever reason, the Astros today announced that Verlander is going to be the Game 1 starter. They have not announced the Game 2 starter. The Phillies announced Game 1, they're going to throw out their Nola, and Game 2, they're going to throw out their Wheeler, with the understanding that in theory, and of course this is extremely all in theory because, well, there's a couple of variables to go into, I'll get into in a second. One, the idea is that if Nola pitches Game 1, he could pitch Game 5 at home, and Wheeler would get the 2 road games if it goes 6 games. So that's the reason why they're lining those 2 up. But the Phillies haven't announced who the Game 3 and Game 4 starters are at home next week. The Astros haven't announced anybody either. And I understand what their reasoning is. There are concerns about the weather next week. For those who are not people who look far ahead with the weather, maybe I only do because of the fact that I'm so stinking paranoid over everything that's happened over the last month with all these games being washed out, rained out, moved, changed, delayed. So people like me are looking ahead. As of right now, there is a 50% chance of showers on Monday. And according to the forecast, it'll be clear for Tuesday and Wednesday. So obviously there is a concern right now that World Series Game 3 could be washed out. So I understand that the theory for a lot of people as well. We don't want to announce a game 3 starter because we're worried that whoever we might project to start game 3, we'll have to push them back for maybe a day or shuffle things around. And that's a wonderful theory, but I think it's frivolous. This gamesmanship garbage that's going on in baseball now, where, oh, we can't announce the starter, where we're not fully sure, we got to see how games 1 and 2 go. I mean, get out of here with that mess. We as a sports collective have to stop accepting these stupid answers from people. Media's got to stop accepting Bill Belichick basically abusing them and insulting them. Okay? We got to stop accepting the reality that it doesn't matter if there's rain in the forecast or not. I don't care if it's 40%, 80%. I don't care who pitches when. There was a time where you told guys, hey, you're the starter. Go out there and pitch. Apparently, we don't do that anymore. Apparently, it's, well, we might have to bring a guy in the game 2 or game 3, and he might be available the next day. I think the whole thing is ridiculous. Like, in what reality are you suddenly going to be like, well, maybe Kyle Gibson's available? What has Kyle Gibson pitched once in the last 6 weeks? Or whatever it is? I don't know the exact number, I have to look it up. But to me, it's absolutely ridiculous that Bob Thompson can't just get up there and be like, hey, Kyle's coming out of the bullpen, and our starters are Ranger and Syndergaard. There's no scenario where you should be like, oh, well, Gibson might start a game. No. Just come out and say it. Ranger game 3, Syndergaard game 4, Eflin and Gibson out of the bullpen. Period. End of story. But no, we got to have these crazy games. We got to go all this weirdness about how, well, strategy, and I'm not sure, and, we can't predict from one day to the next what's going to happen. I mean, these managers are just grinding my gears, to quote Peter Griffin from Family Guy. It is absolutely insane to me that in the World Series, the Astros just can't come out and say, here's our game 1, game 2, and game 3 starters. I don't even need game 4. Just give me the other 3. But they can't do that. And to me, I think behind the scenes, baseball is encouraging these managers to do this. Because I think behind the scenes, they want people to, never accuse them of putting out information for gambling purposes. Because you know how it works. If you know ahead of time certain information, people are going to place certain bets accordingly. But I don't care that people are betting or not betting on game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's disingenuous just not to come out and say, Verlander game 1, Valdez game 2, Javier game 3, because that's the way it's been the entire season. And the Phillies are just as bad, by the way. This isn't just a Astros problem, okay? Why can't you just tell Suarez and Syndergaard, hey, guys, you're going to be game 3, you're going to be game 4, for however many pitches you can give us. After those 4 games, we'll figure it out from there. You're not starting Nola or Wheeler on short rest. So what are we doing here? What are we trying to rationalize? If you have a 3-0 series lead, are you really going to ask Nola or Wheeler to pitch on short notice? No. Because you haven't done it all year. Why would you do it now? Josh Hennig, GameNight 973, ESPN FM 973, ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Jeff in Ocean City says, Josh, my radar had rain until 7 p.m. on Monday. Then it clears up by 8. Go Phillies. Well, here's the thing, Jeff. That forecast could change a million times between now and Monday. And I'm telling you, these baseball people are trying to use the weather now as an excuse for this gamesmanship. They would be like, oh, there's a 20% chance of rain at 8 p.m. on Monday. Can't announce a starter. Oh, it's too dangerous. Just absolute malarkey by these people. I mentioned the Eagles in the day after the Robert Quinn acquisition. The Eagles had a very interesting injury report today because everyone is practicing. The only person who was limited was Brandon Graham. It looks like Lane Johnson is on track to play this Sunday, coming out of the concussion protocol. Sayamalu and Job are only listed, but they're listed as full participants. Brandon Graham apparently has a hamstring issue. I am going to read a little bit into this injury report, and I'm going to assume that Robert Quinn is going to play a good chunk of snaps on Sunday. I don't know how many snaps per se, but I do think that he is going to probably be coming in, more often than not for Brandon Graham. And here's my working theory. I think that what the Eagles brought Quinn in here to do was to be a guy who absorbs a lot of attention. I think the Eagles, in their mind, look at Quinn, who is one of the most doubled players in the NFL, according to NFL Next Gen Stats. They're looking at Quinn, and they're saying, this guy is somebody who, when he's on the field, other teams have to account for them. And the idea is, if Quinn is on the field, there's less people paying attention, potentially, to somebody else on the defensive front. Whether it's Reddick, whether it's Sweat, whether it's Cox, whether it's Hargrave, whether it's Milton Williams, whoever it is. And I think that's the way he's going to be used for the first 2 weeks. I think Quinn's role is going to be a decoy that will eventually get a better grasp of the offense after the Texans game. Because remember, you got the Eagles this Sunday, right here on 97.3 ESPN FM, Mel Reese, Mike Quick on the call. And then next Thursday night, when I'm sitting in this chair talking to you here on Game Night, you know what's going to happen? We're going to be previewing Texans, Eagles on Thursday Night Football. So I think that Quinn, for the first 2 games, is going to be used more as a decoy and more as a, here are your plays in the playbook guy. Because I think the Eagles realize that he's not going to be able to learn the whole offense in a 10-day period. And I think at the time from the Thursday night game to then the Eagles play on Monday Night Football the week after that against the Washington football team, Commanders, whatever their name is. The idea is that now you're going to have this gap from the Texans game to the Washington game. And I think it will be from the Washington game on that Robert Quinn has the biggest impact. Because if all things are equal and these guys are, for the most part, healthy, the chunk of your schedule you need Quinn for is down the road. Because when you face teams like Indianapolis, Green Bay, Tennessee, the Giants, you're going to need your pass rushers available for those games. Because I don't care who the quarterback is. I've watched enough Green Bay and Tennessee games and Giant games to know that those offensive lines are susceptible. And if you have the guys up front to take advantage of another team's weakness, you have to do it. By the way, shout out to the texter on the text board. He says, Josh, I totally agree with what you're saying, and I'm not even a Phillies fan. It seems like there's too many secrets in all of sports. Maybe I'm too old school. Listen, texter, and I would give you credit for the text. We didn't leave your name. You and me both. Maybe we're just a bunch of old heads who don't appreciate modern baseball or modern sports. But this whole thing of like, I can't announce who my starting quarterback is, or I got to wait for more film to come. No, just announce it. Stop playing games. We're not playing charades here. We're not competing with it. We're not in a the World Series of Poker at the final table and the stare down is on and you're wearing the glasses and you're spinning the chip in your finger and you're giving the guy the stare down. You're playing a team sport. We're talking about one guy on a baseball field of 9 people or one guy on the field of 11 people. If you're the other team and you can't, I don't know, it boggles my mind that these people act like this. I'm with you, texter. All right. We'll talk to college football next, and then we'll finish out the show with some Phillies and Thursday football. Josh Hennig here on Game Night 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of CI.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2022 season this Sunday at the Link, hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He lets it fly. It's intercepted by Slade. Second pick of the game.
Pre-game coverage starts at noon with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
Son, get in the car.
No, Dad, not your car. It smells horrid and it looks awful. I'm scared, Dad. I'm really scared.
Is your old car really scary? Matt Platt Mitsubishi wants your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Push, pull, even drag it in to Matt Platt Mitsubishi and get more for your trade when you purchase any select new 2022 Mitsubishi SUV, plus every new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross or Outlander SUV. Put zero down and pay only 2.9% financing. Worried that your credit will make car buying scary? Matt Platt Mitsubishi knows bad things happen to good people. We finance your future, not your past, even if your credit is less than perfect. Simply Matt Platt Mitsubishi. Unapproved with Tier 1 credit. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Go to mattplattmitsubishi.com for complete details, plus tax, license, registration fees. Offers can't be combined. Expires 11/5/22. So come in today and get your deal your way. Located right in the heart of Glassboro for over 30 years.
Ooh, Halloween, the season for goblins, witches, and scary good fun. But Walgreens knows it's also the doorbell never stops season, and we can't run out of candy season. So let Walgreens fill your Halloween bowl fast with pickup in as little as 30 minutes and delivery in as little as 1 hour. Because if it's needed in a poof season, it's Walgreens season.
This week, buy one, get one free snack and fun-sized candy bags of equal or lesser price. Offer valid through 10/29 while supplies last. Restrictions apply. See Walgreens.com for details.
Hey, folks, it's JR, the #1 documented source from the world's destination for point spread information, wagerpro.com. Tonight, Baltimore goes to Raymond James Stadium to take on Tampa. I absolutely love one side of this matchup, so as a way to gain your trust and your confidence to sign up, I'm releasing the point spread winner absolutely free on my famous recorded message with no obligation. Call 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. Folks, this is a tough matchup to pick on your own. Baltimore looks very squeamish all year in the fourth quarter, almost blowing another win against Cleveland last Sunday. The great Tom Brady doesn't look so great as of late. Get my expert opinion on this decisive matchup. Call 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. And visit wagerpro.com.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing. I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Dine in for these amazing fall specials. Wednesday is crab night. 2 pounds of snow crab legs, $49.99. Or mix it up with 2 pounds of snow crab legs and 4 hard shells for $79.99. Thursdays are for the birds. Whatever the Eagles score on Sunday, you get to save on wings at Chicky and Pete's on Thursday. Plus, limited time fall specials, including bomb pork belly tacos and the garlic truffle burger. Wash it down with our pear elderflower mule or apple cider old fashioned. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. And we know Saturdays in the fall are special. Why? College football. And we have you covered with food and drink specials and the best in-game experience to watch your team or the college football game of the week. Come watch Penn State, Temple, Villanova, Notre Dame, Texas, Michigan, Georgia, and more. College football Saturdays are special at Chickies and Pete's.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. And the next voice you're going to hear is someone you've heard before, because the last time a Philadelphia sports team was in a championship game was the last time that you heard Bob Ibach's voice. Of course, when the Eagles were in the Super Bowl, Bob had these amazing footballs that were for charity, and now we're doing a similar thing in 2022 as Bob, who has a long sports history, joins us right now on the phone line. Bob, how you doing today?
Hey, Josh, nice to be with you, and I'm so excited for Philadelphia and South Jersey there where you guys are located because, you know, as I was telling you off the air, I was a sports editor at a Philadelphia newspaper, the old Philadelphia Journal, in 1980 when the Phillies won the World Series and beat Kansas City for their first World Series championship in their franchise history. And, it was exciting then. I know it's going to be exciting now. I don't know if you're going to have the horses inside the ballpark waiting for things like you had back then, but we've got something I think Philly fans are going to want to get their hands on. It's very limited. I'll give out a toll-free number and a website in just a moment how you can get something, and it's also going to benefit a charity, the Phillies charities, to raise some monies for some good causes in your area. What I'm talking about is a officially licensed 3-ball World Series baseball set. You get 3 different baseballs, each put inside of a beautiful acrylic display case with a gold base for $99. It'll be sent to you in plenty of time to consider for a Christmas or holiday gift idea. And they're $99. And like I said, a portion of the proceeds will go to the Phillies Charities, Inc., which we've worked with in the past to raise a lot of money. I know our Nyco Sports has raised over $3.1 million just in the last 5 or 6 years. And I know your audience has been a big part of that, going back to when we did that special thing with the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl. Now, these baseballs, everything is officially licensed. You'll get a numbered certificate of authenticity. The first baseball is an official World Series baseball, and on that baseball, on various panels, we have the road to the championship with a recap, the opponents of the games that the Phillies have played up to now, and including, we'll put on there their games against Houston. We have the starting lineup that the Phillies have used this year on another panel on that ball, and we also have a road to the championship, so it kind of recaps all the postseason journey for the Phillies on that baseball. So you'll be able to remember exactly how they got to the World Series against the Astros in years to come. The second ball is a tribute baseball to the past 2 World Series championships the Phillies won. Of course, the one in 1980, which I remember very well. I wrote a book afterwards called The Comeback Kids to kind of chronicle that. And then the most recent one in 2008. So we'll have information on that baseball with stuff that pertains to each of those 2 championships. And the third and final baseball in the set, Josh, is a Citizens Bank Park logo baseball. It's got a beautiful action stadium aerial shot that makes it, a helicopter was flying over the ballpark, took the aerial shot. On one panel of the ball, we'll have that beautiful stadium photo there, along with some stadium facts and some stadium history. So you get all three of these for $99. Only 2,022 sets will ever be produced, so it's very limited. So when I give out that phone number now on the website, you're going to want to jump on it because these will go very quickly. And if hopefully the Phillies go on and add this as a World Series championship, we will update one of these baseballs, the official World Series baseball, to include that. That'll say World Series champion on it. So here's the phone number and the website to call. $99 will snag you all three of the baseballs. Toll-free number, 1-800-345-2868. That's 1-800-345-2868. If you call in and you're getting the busy signal, don't panic. Go right to the website. You can order it there, NICOsports.com. You spell it NIKCO sports.com. That's NIKCO sports.com or 1-800-345-2868.
And if these balls are any as good as the Eagles footballs that we got previously, Bob, or as the pictures show in the email, I got to say, these are going to be an amazing collector's item because, Bob, before I let you go real quick, people forget, you mentioned 1980. The Phillies are in the World Series for the sixth time since that 1980 appearance. So, this is starting to become a little bit more of a common theme that almost every decade the Phillies are getting to the big show.
That's right. It's an amazing thing, and I know when they won it for the first time in 1980, I was in the locker room with Dallas Green, who later hired me, took me to Chicago with him. I was his PR director for 9 years there. So I have a lot of my heart in Philadelphia. My son is with the Tampa Bay Rays, and I know he's dealt a lot with the Phillies organization. He's their pro scouting director and has gotten to Philadelphia quite often, played baseball himself at LaSalle. So I have a lot of roots in Philly. So my heart's rooting really hard for these guys.
Again, Bob, tell folks the number, the website, and the charity. Again, these baseballs look absolutely amazing. If you're someone who's just a hardcore Phillies fan or you're a collector, you want to get your hand on these, and the money's going to charity.
That's right. It goes to the Phillies Charities, Inc., and we've raised, like I said, $3.1 million for charities like that just the last 4 or 5 years. And I know your audience has helped us to do that. The toll-free number to call again to get these, and again, only 2,022 of these sets will ever be made, so they are limited. They'll be sent to you before the Christmas and holiday season, so you can use them as a Christmas gift idea for that Phillies fan. The toll-free number is 1-800-345-2868, and the website, NICOsports.com, NIKCO sports.com. Again, these are just $99. I guarantee you this. You put these up in your office or home, you will have people walking in and saying, wow, where did you get these? Because each baseball is put inside of their own acrylic display case with a gold base. It really, really pops out. And you put it up on a shelf, you put it in a special place in your man cave, people are going to be talking about it.
Awesome stuff, Bob. Appreciate you calling in today.
All right, Josh. Hey, it's always a pleasure, and go Phillies.
Speaking of the Phillies, you can watch all the Phillies games over at the FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's off the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Yes, my friends over at Bally's have a sportsbook right off the boardwalk. So Thursday football tonight, Phillies game 1 and game 2 in the World Series. Friday and Saturday, college football all day Saturday afternoon. Sunday, Eagles football. Sunday night, Monday football. Catch all the action. Sixers, Flyers, whatever is your fancy. You can bet, watch, and win all the time. Not just football season, basketball, baseball, hockey. Do it all. With 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating. Over the FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's at the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Get in on all the action this season. FanDuel wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit FanDuel.com/playwell. Learn more. Must be 21 or to play and present in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Appreciate Bob Iback checking in there. We're going to try to get Gino Torretta on the show a little bit later this hour. He's dealing with a little situation, so we will get in touch with him as soon as we can. But for now, we got text to get to over at 609-403-0973. Tom in Margate chimes says, "Hey, Josh, you are not an old head. Did you see the result of 44 states favor the Phillies to win the World Series?" From Tom in Margate. Tom, I did see that survey. It's amazing to me that people still hold that grudge against the Astros. It's like people have never seen cheating before. Like, I understand there's a lot of Yankee fans, Dodger fans who are very sore about the scandal. Okay, the sign stealing scandal. For those who maybe it's out of sight, out of mind, maybe you don't remember, but the Astros were caught red-handed with a cheating scandal, and they were using all kinds of, well, basically under the baseball rules, illegal ways to obtain who was pitching what, when, where, and how. And, there's been a lot of accusations thrown out there. And my position has always been this when it comes to that situation. I don't believe for 1 minute that Jose Altuve or Alex Bregman or any of those guys all of a sudden became all-star hitters just because of that scandal. Because we've seen them, first of all, still be able to do it without the cheating mechanisms since then. And in the process, the Astros have reinvented themselves from a team of a bunch of veteran hitters with some young players to a team with a bunch of veteran pitchers with young hitters. So to me, the Astros are a dynasty, and the fact that people still hate on them because of that cheating scandal, I think is just a symbol that, what is good for the goose is not good for the gander, as the old saying goes. This idea that, what the Astros did is so much better or so much worse than any other variant of doing whatever it takes to win. We want our team to do whatever it takes to win until they get caught red-handed, and then we try to, act like they didn't exist. You look at the situation with McGuire and Sosa and Bonds and Rafael Palmeiro, all these guys who were directly or indirectly found to have taken PEDs. Obviously, we saw the Andro in the locker room in Mark McGuire's locker. Sosa has a lot of PED accusations. Rafael Palmeiro was caught doing some PED stuff. Roger Clemens has been accused of a lot of things. Barry Bonds, due to court proceedings, was revealed to have used HGH. The problem with all of those accusations is what gets overlooked is that baseball has had people bending the rules and trying to cheat for years. And whether it's the Astros, whether it's the PED users, all these guys, we act like baseball hasn't had scuffed balls, corked bats, spitballs, all these things for decades. So what? Do we got to erase every single record and purge the baseball history of what happened? Doesn't change the fact that Jose Altuve still had to hit those balls, that Bregman still had to hit those balls out. It doesn't change that to me. So, maybe I just don't understand. Okay, but I can't buy into this idea that the Astros are the most evil team of all time. But listen, if you want to root for the Phillies, all of you out there, join the club. Mike and Marmora, I should say, chimes in and says, "Josh, why do you need to know right now who pitches games 3 and 4? How does that affect the way Thompson manages his pitching staff?" He sounded a little ridiculous. Long-time listener, just being honest. That's from Mike and Marmora. Well, maybe I do sound ridiculous, and maybe I'm not verbalizing it properly. But the reason why is that, as a sports analyst, if you're going to ask me who's going to win the series, I'm doing it on a lot of presumption. I'm doing it on a lot of maybe I have a theory. I like to work with information I have. So, like, if I think the Phillies win the series in 7 games, I'm doing it because I'm assuming that who pitches game 3 and game 4 is going to be certain people. If I'm going to go on the assumption that the Phillies are going to win 2 out of 3 at home, they're going to win 1 out of 2 in Houston both times, and that's how they get 4, part of it is who starts those games. It's hard to project and predict and figure out how a series is going to go if you don't know who's starting some of these games. To me, there's a huge difference in that Padres game between Clevenger and Maeda pitching the start of that game. It's a huge difference. It's how your lineup is. Maeda's a lefty, Clevenger's a righty. There's a big difference in how the bullpen for the Padres is used. There's a lot of things that go into that. So, and considering how Thompson manages the pitching staff, I look at Rob Thompson, and I just think that this theory out there that you can't just tell Ranger and Syndergaard your starters 3 and 4 for the series and just tell everybody what's going on. I think the gamesmanship just falls flat on flat ears. Not flat ears. It's got no substance to me. If you're telling me you're getting that much of an edge over the Astros because you're not announcing game 3 and game 4 starters because you might have to use somebody in game 2, it just is hollow to me. That's all. But listen, maybe I am being ridiculous. Maybe that's a ridiculous opinion to have, but it's what I think. Steven Ventnor says, history is repeating itself. Dave Dombrowski did the same thing that Pat Gillick did. He deserves a lot of credit for this. There definitely is some history repeating itself. There definitely is an element of we've seen this before, Steven Ventnor, and that is the idea of the old grizzled veteran coming in and reshaping the organization's vision, reshaping the roster to get you to a chance to win a championship. And if they do, listen, Dombrowski's probably going to the Hall of Fame anyway. I mean, this is a guy who has gotten the Marlins, 97, the Tigers, by the way, with Justin Verlander, the Red Sox, 2018, and now the Phillies all to the World Series. The guy's going to the Hall of Fame one day. It's an incredible accomplishment. You could argue he's actually more accomplished than Pat Gillick is. And Pat Gillick had an amazing 10 years with the Blue Jays, the Mariners, and the Phillies, getting the Blue Jays to the World Series, getting the Mariners at 100-plus win season. So Gillick's a Hall of Famer as well. Sam in Avalon chimes in, says, do you think Howie will go out and get a running back like Kamara or stick with Sanders? I'm saying Sanders deserves to be back seated, but an upgrade at running back would definitely help us. I said this yesterday, Sam in Avalon, so I'll just repeat the opinion I have here. I think Howie is reading the room. And I think part of reading the room is knowing that the league is a pendulum swing right now. Okay. I think that it's more important to have a high-level defense right now in the NFL than it is to have the greatest stable of running backs. I think that right now in a league with horrible offensive lines, Los Angeles, Green Bay, Tampa, New Orleans got a messy offensive line situation. The Vikings are nothing to write home about. I mean, you could argue that the 3 of the 5 best offensive lines in the entire NFC are all in the NFC East. The Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Giants, and even the Giants and the Cowboys have flaws on their O-line. So, to me, I think it's more important, and I think this is why Howie made the move. Sam in Avalon, appreciate the text in at 609-403-0973. I think that he thought it was more important to have a pass rusher than to maybe pay too much to get a Kamara, Hunt, Christian McCaffrey, because we know that those teams are probably going to ask a pretty penny. We saw what the 49ers gave up to get Christian McCaffrey. I'm sure that Cleveland and New Orleans looking at their running backs and saying, well, if they get that, they get that for Christian McCaffrey, what can we get for our guys? I think Howie worked the market, found the inexperienced GM and Ryan Poles, sweet-talked him, manipulated him, and got a good deal. And I think that's a big part of the reason why Quinn is here and why the running back is not here. I think Howie read the market, read the league, and decided to move in this direction because he sees that right now a pass rusher is more valuable than a running back. Josh Hennig here on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Keep the text coming in, 609-403-0973, and you can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle.
Red October continues on 97.3 ESPN.
Swing and a high fly ball, left field. That one is back. Gone!
Listen to the Phillies and Houston Astros in the World Series on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. It's Phillies Astros. Game 1 tomorrow. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. South Jersey's home for the 2022 World Series.
It's the time of year for killer deals. You've had your eye on some hot new wheels. We want to pay off your loan or lease and tell your old car to rust in peace.
If your current vehicle is your worst nightmare, get to Matt Blatt Nissan today. AJ the Trade Man will give you more for your trade. We have a huge selection of new Nissans on the lot or en route, ready for delivery. Have a job clearing $350 per week? Matt Blatt Nissan wants to approve you today with 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 1.9% financing. Drive away with peace of mind with Matt Blatt Nissan's 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Reserve your Nissan today from our huge selection. Negative equity will be refinanced into new vehicle. Interest accrues from date of sale. Not all will qualify. Offers can't be combined. Call 877-289-6670 or go to mattblattnissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 11/6/22. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing. I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So instead, we're going to have someone else say it. Because for some reason, when a random person talks about how great something is in a commercial, it's more believable.
I saved with a Progressive home and auto bundle.
And there you have it. I mean, I'm not sure why she's more believable than me, but either way, you get the point about the saving. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Smart businesses are always looking for ways to improve. Better work days can start with Cintas. Your dedicated Cintas service reps help make sure you have what you need when you need it. We'll stock your essential cleaning products, deliver hygienically clean workwear, inspect your fire extinguishers, and provide first aid and safety supplies. Cintas is with you every step of the way, so you stay a step ahead. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Ocean Casino Resort is the ultimate fantasy draft party spot. Go for the bragging rights this fantasy football season and plan your draft party at Top Golf. Each party receives a dedicated VIP draft space or private bay at Top Golf for up to 4 hours, an ocean draft board, swag bag, championship trophy, and more. Your fantasy football season starts here at Ocean Casino Resort. For more details, visit theoceanac.com. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. Let's go! Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night being brought to you by friends over at Jenkins, because with 97.3 ESPN Studio needed to get our studio taken care of, that's who we called. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy. Jenkins technicians are trained to do it all. For heating and air installation, service and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, oil service, plumbing and drain cleaning services, call 609-641-6262. and visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. Each Thursday, we talk college football with 1992 Heisman Trophy winner and national champion at the University of Miami, Gino Torretta. We had to shuffle some things around, but we're glad to get him on the show here on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Gino, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Josh. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Let's go big picture first and foremost. Obviously, we are almost at the end of October. For you, where do you stand right now on how the college football scene is shaking out? Because, right now people got questions about Alabama. People are looking forward to that Tennessee-Georgia game. Ohio State, Michigan, depends on who you ask. I mean, Oregon just crushed UCLA. I didn't see that happening, right? So, how are you kind of outlaying college football? Like, how are you tiering these teams right now?
Well, I think what I do pretty much every year is just enjoy every weekend. I mean, it seems like, you mentioned Oregon just hammering UCLA, which I was with you. I didn't see that happen, and they seem like they're playing some of the best football in the country. Ohio State and Michigan have to play. Heck, we got, Tennessee's got to play Kentucky this weekend, and they got a, quarterback at Kentucky that might be a top 10 pick. So they have a chance to go on the road and shock Tennessee. And then we got Tennessee, Georgia. Everybody's got kind of, I guess, chinks in the armor. And then I guess when you're getting to, this part of the season is how healthy are you and are you going to play your best? Because when those teams match up, whether it's Tennessee, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, and Georgia, all these teams, when they're playing, they better have their best fastball on that Saturday. So I think for me is I just enjoy the game and just kind of look at it at the end and going, wow, didn't see that coming. What do we got next week? And then see where the chips fall. Cause I think I can't remember. I think it was probably like, it might've been 10, 12, something like that, where there was like 8 teams with 0 losses going into the last weekend, and I think 6 of them lost in the old BCS area. So it usually shakes out at the end.
Yeah, WVU fans are still sore about what happened years ago. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Miami fans are upset that in what was it 2000 they didn't get a shot at the national championship, and they pounded Florida in the Sugar Bowl. So we all got our gripes, I guess.
Yeah. Touchdown Radio Network Game of the Week. You mentioned it. You guys got Tennessee and Kentucky, and you're 100% right about the fact that Tennessee can't look past Kentucky because Kentucky, they got some real players, and Levis versus Hendon Hooker might be one of the best quarterback matchups of the season.
Yeah, I'm fired up, and Kentucky's finally healthy. I mean, Levis has been sacked more than he was last year, and that was just they've had revolving door, and finally their front 5, their offensive linemen are healthy. They're ready to go. Rodriguez, their back, who's a real good player, he's healthy. They got some more experience on the outside. They have 2 freshmen that are stepping up big, and Levis is as healthy. He's going to be with with a foot injury. So I think that this is going to be big. And last year, what was it, 45-42? This one, I think it's going to be a shootout. Tennessee's, they're running, a play every, every 3 minutes or so. I mean, it's craziness. They're 3 plays a minute and trying to just basically tire out the other team's defense. Hooker's been playing lights out. He's got some weapons on the outside. So it's going to be fun and a hell of a primetime game.
You and I have talked about in the past the evolution of Hendon Hooker, but we got to talk about the evolution of Will Levis for a moment because, a few years ago, Will Levis was kind of put into this pigeonhole of he's just a mobile wildcat quarterback at Penn State. And this guy has gone from being just a gimmick guy at Penn State to being, as you just mentioned a little bit ago, Gino, he's a bona fide NFL quarterback prospect.
Yeah, he's legit. And talking to Kentucky's coaches, they're really excited about him. So he processes as good as good as anybody at that position and in the quarterback position. He's got a great release throw. And maybe it was just something that he saw. I mean, heck, maybe he saw that, the quarterback at Penn State was going to stay 6 years and he was never going to get a chance to play. And said, hey, man, I got to get out of here. I got to go somewhere else and find somewhere where I can get on the field.
Yeah, Will Levis was singing, I got to get out of this place. It's the last thing I do. Obviously, I kid. But it is interesting because, like I said, you and I talk about Hennig Hooker. I mean, 3-4 years ago, if people would have told you and I that Hendon Hooker and Will Levis are going mano-a-mano in arguably one of the 3 or 4 most important games of a college football weekend, people looked at us like we were nuts.
There's no question. And it's funny because I went back and looked at Hendon Hooker's stats against Miami because for whatever reason, Virginia Tech quarterbacks usually throw for about 400 or 500 yards against the Hurricanes. He had a great year, but then, kind of pedestrian the next year. And it's just like he has steadily improved every year. And we've talked about it before. His age is definitely a factor. I mean, he's over 24 years old, here in college. And it's just everything he gets it. And he's clicking with Heupel and his system. And Tennessee's got they got some weapons on the outside.
Gino, we don't have a lot of time. Appreciate you jumping on. Before I let you go, I want to ask you about kind of like an analogy between 2 games this weekend. Which team do you think is, for lack of a better term, more in danger this weekend? Is it Ohio State at Penn State? Because, Penn State, weird things happen out there sometimes. Or do you think that the Michigan State rivalry could actually yield something interesting?
I don't think either. I wouldn't be worried about either. I think having seen Penn State in person, they went on the road and they beat Auburn, but Auburn obviously isn't very good. And Ohio State is very good. They got a little bit of a wake up call, even with a somewhat off game where it was 54-10 last week against Iowa. So they can play and Michigan State. I think Michigan State's banged up. They don't have near the personnel after, they hit on all their transfers a season ago, and they're just young. But I don't think either one of those teams got to worry. I would worry about if I was Tennessee, because I think that Kentucky full steam can beat anybody. Their defense hasn't allowed more than 20 for a bunch of games. So, that's the team if I would say worry, I have Tennessee worry.
Well, I'm sure the Georgia fans are hoping that Kentucky knocks off Tennessee. And Gino Torretta will be there this Saturday. Touchdown Radio Network Game of the Week. Tennessee, Kentucky, Hooker, Levis, 2 quarterbacks you might be seeing on Sundays starting next year are playing this Saturday. And Gino Torretta will be watching it all. Gino, appreciate you shuffling the chairs and jumping on the show today. We'll talk next week.
Sounds good, Josh. Thank you.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. Don't forget, tonight here on 97.3 ESPN FM, we have Thursday Night Football. You have the Ravens versus the Bucks. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. On our sister station, Rock 104.1, we have Flyers action coming up at the top of the hour. If you not near your radio for the Flyers game, just go to Rock 104.1's website or download the Rock 104.1 app to listen to the Flyers game tonight. Look, I don't love anything about this Ravens-Bucks game tonight, but if I had to tell you one thing about this game, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes over the 46.5. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Have a great night, everybody.
Hey, it's Mike Gill from the Sports.
For the YouTube-only crowd, I appreciate all of you that hang around for the post show. Just a quick thing before I, kind of wrap it up and get out of here. Me and Gino Torretta have talked about a lot of times over the months about these quarterbacks and, their maturation, the development, the evolution of a Hendon Hooker, who's now at Tennessee, who started at Virginia Tech, a Will Levis, who was kind of, put into a box, and then he went to Kentucky and, has flourished into more. You look around at Bo Nix at Oregon, people are like, oh my goodness, is Bo Nix finally meeting his potential at Oregon? You look at Stetson Bennett, who won the national championship with Georgia. He had to go the junior college route before he got to Georgia to win the national championship. I think that these quarterbacks are all in a position to be successful because in today's sports world, very rarely are guys properly trained and developed. And I think it's a conversation that we don't have enough. And that is, the more time you give somebody to mature, to grow, to get repetitions, to get opportunities to develop and hone their craft, the better chance that they can become the best version of themselves. We as a society treat athletes and people and all professions. People want a finished product more often than they don't. They don't want to train people. They don't want to develop people. They don't want to bring people along. They want somebody to show up and be exactly what they want on day one. And if they're not, people get frustrated. They get annoyed. And I think these quarterbacks are a perfect example. Will Levis and Hendon Hooker were never supposed to be in this situation right now. They were never supposed to be these guys who were NFL draft prospects, guys who are going to play on Sunday. You know who was supposed to be that guy? JT Daniels. You know who was supposed to be that guy? Jackson Dart. And you know what both of those guys are doing? Both of those guys who were high-level recruits, high demand, they're both in different schools now than they started at, and they're not playing that great. They're playing very inconsistent. JT Daniels on his third school at West Virginia right now, and you thought that, you bring him, you reunite him with the old coordinator who he played well with at USC, and WVU will go places. It hasn't happened. You turn around and look at Jackson Dart. He was supposed to be the next guy at USC. Well, he gets run out of town because of Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams showing up there. Lincoln Riley, the head coach, Caleb Williams, the quarterback, and Jackson Dart has to go out to Ole Miss and get that all figured out. So you're kind of in a weird situation here where you're looking at these quarterbacks and you're realizing that they basically didn't have an opportunity to, in Will Levis and Hendon Hooker's case, to develop yet into who they could be. And Jackson Dart and JT Daniels were given the benefit of the doubt, and they ended up not being as good as they could be. So, with time, with repetitions, these guys had opportunities to become better. And I just wish as a society, we gave more people training and development instead of constantly looking people to be a finished product. Because it's like, when you have somebody who has something good, when you have somebody who has potential, more often than not, they don't get an opportunity because somebody gets a job because they know somebody, they fit into a mold or whatever it may be. Look at sports. Levis and Hooker are going to be playing on Sunday in the NFL. I don't know if JT Daniels is going to make it. He's playing too rough around the edges. And so I see that with Keaton Slovis. Man, I am messing up his name all over the place. Keaton Slovis over at Pitt. Keaton Slovis is another guy who played well for a while, went to Pitt, and he's been inconsistent. And I think it's interesting that right now, when you ask who the best quarterbacks in college football, it's not JT Daniels, it's not Keaton Slovis, it's not Jackson Dart, it's not any of those guys. Instead, we're talking about Will Levis and Hendon Hooker. We're talking about Quentin Ewers at Texas, another guy who had to leave the school he was at, Ohio State, to get a legitimate opportunity because he saw C.J. Stroud, and he's like, I'm not going to get play time behind that guy. That guy's better than me. I'm going to go to Texas. And Texas has been incredibly good in every game he has started. So it's just some interesting thoughts at the end of the show. Thank you for watching on the YouTube channel. Hit the like button, subscribe, share it with your friends. Appreciate you joining the show. And I'll catch you tomorrow. 973 ESPN FM, 973 ESPN mobile app, and of course, live right here on my YouTube channel at Josh Hennig on YouTube, at Josh Hennig on Twitter. You can hit me up there as well. And I'll catch you all tomorrow for game night. Phillies baseball tomorrow night. Should be interesting. We'll have Andy McNamara on the show tomorrow, so we'll talk some football and some baseball tomorrow.